He's naked from the waist down near a toilet, and he's singing a song to you.
To me, yes.
And you're naked.
Yes. And
Okay.
I'm throwing the towel down, and Elvis is singing, and I'm...
Everyone knows Elvis Presley as the king of rock and roll, the legend who changed music forever. But very few people know the truth about the man behind the crown. And no one tells that truth better than his close friend, Tom Jones. At 85, Tom is finally opening up, sharing stories of laughter, late-night Vegas hangouts, private struggles, and heartbreaking confessions that reveal the real Elvis Presley. From shower singing to personal talks about family and fame, this is the side of Elvis the world never saw. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Tom Jones says Elvis was not just a legend, but a friend he'll never forget. When Tom Jones first burst onto the music scene in the mid-1960s, no one could have predicted that he and Elvis Presley would become such close friends. On paper, they couldn't have been more different. Tom was the soulful Welsh powerhouse, bringing his booming vocals and rugged charm to audiences in Europe and America. Elvis, on the other hand, was already the crowned king of rock and roll, dominating charts and stages with his unique fusion of country, blues, and gospel. Yet somehow these two paths crossed in a way that would forever shape both men's lives. Their meeting in Las Vegas was almost inevitable. Both had rising careers tied closely to Sin City, where music, glamour, and fame intersected. Tom admired Elvis long before they ever spoke, and to his surprise, Elvis felt the same. Elvis had seen Tom perform and instantly recognized his talent. Despite the competitive nature of show business, there was no rivalry between them. Instead, Elvis welcomed Tom like a brother, impressed by his powerful voice and stage presence. For Tom, this was nothing short of surreal. To be embraced by the king himself was not just validation, it was a dream. Their connection grew quickly, rooted in respect for each other's craft, but also in their shared understanding of what it meant to live life under the crushing spotlight of fame. Both were global stars, adored by millions, yet they longed for genuine human connections beyond the stage. Looking back, Tom often described their first encounters as natural, almost effortless. What could have been a clash of egos instead became the beginning of one of music's most surprising friendships. Elvis and Tom discovered that while their styles may have been different, their spirits were very much the same. Elvis Presley wasn't easily impressed. By the late 1960s, he had seen nearly every major act in show business. Yet when he first watched Tom Jones perform, something clicked instantly. Elvis saw more than just another rising star. He saw a kindred spirit. Tom's voice carried a raw, soulful power that reminded Elvis of the gospel and rhythm and blues roots he himself adored. To Elvis, Tom wasn't copying anyone. He was authentic, and that authenticity earned his respect right away. But it wasn't just about music. Elvis loved personalities, and Tom's charisma on stage felt both larger than life and down to earth. Tom didn't need gimmicks. He simply walked on stage, sang his heart out, and the audience was mesmerized. Elvis knew how rare that was. He once told friends that Tom had the same ability he did, to make people believe every single word of a song. That bond of sincerity was what drew Elvis closer to him. Their first meeting backstage sealed the deal. Instead of the stiff politeness Elvis often endured with other celebrities, Tom spoke to him like a real person. There was no worshiping, no forced flattery, just respect and honesty. Elvis found it refreshing. Most people treated him like a god, but Tom treated him like a man. That made all the difference. Very quickly, Elvis started inviting Tom into his inner circle. He'd call him up late at night, asking to hang out, sing together, or just talk about life. For someone as guarded as Elvis, this was rare. Clearly, Tom had earned a trust that very few ever gained. In interviews years later, Tom would often say he never tried to be Elvis's friend. It just happened naturally. And perhaps that's exactly why Elvis liked him so much. Because Tom wasn't trying at all. When Tom Jones and Elvis Presley ruled Las Vegas, it was more than just music, it was magic. The city was alive with flashing lights, glamorous shows, and high-rolling energy, but nothing compared to the nights when these two legends shared the stage and the spotlight. Both men were at the peak of their powers, and Vegas became the perfect playground for their friendship. Elvis would often sneak into Tom's shows at Caesar's Palace, sitting quietly in the audience before making his way backstage. Sometimes he couldn't resist and would join Tom on stage for an impromptu duet, leaving the crowd stunned. For fans, it was like witnessing lightning strike twice in the same room. These moments weren't planned, and that's what made them unforgettable. The chemistry between Elvis and Tom was real, two powerful voices, full of soul and passion, feeding off each other's energy. But it wasn't just about performing. After the shows ended, the two would stay up until the early hours of the morning, laughing, singing, and sometimes just talking about their lives. While the rest of the world saw them as untouchable superstars, in those private Vegas nights, they were simply two friends sharing a bond. Elvis admired Tom's strength and grounded personality, while Tom respected Elvis's vulnerability behind the fame. There are countless stories from those nights, Elvis sending over his personal band to back Tom during a performance, or Tom encouraging Elvis to keep pushing himself musically even when doubt crept in. The Strip became their stage, their playground, and their escape from the pressures of fame. For those lucky enough to witness it, the Vegas nights of Elvis and Tom weren't just concerts. They were history in the making, moments that fans still talk about decades later. Behind the glittering lights of Las Vegas and the roar of sold-out crowds, Tom Jones and Elvis Presley shared a bond that went far deeper than music. Many celebrity friendships in Hollywood are surface level, built around convenience and publicity, but theirs was genuine. Both men understood the crushing pressure of fame, the constant touring, the screaming fans, and the struggle of maintaining a private life, while the world wanted a piece of them. This common ground created a trust between them that very few could penetrate. Tom often described Elvis as a man who wore his heart on his sleeve. Despite being hailed as the king of rock and roll, Elvis was vulnerable. He often confided in Tom about his fears, loneliness, and the weight of expectations placed on him. Tom, known for his honesty and loyalty, never betrayed those conversations. He became a safe space for Elvis, someone who would listen without judgment. Their bond wasn't only emotional, it was rooted in mutual respect. Elvis admired Tom's powerful voice and stage confidence, often saying Tom could command a crowd like no one else. Tom, in turn, looked up to Elvis as a trailblazer who broke barriers and redefined music. They weren't competing. Instead, they celebrated each other's successes. What truly made their friendship rare was how normal they could be together. Away from the spotlight, they laughed like schoolboys, played music for fun, and even joked about their flashy stage outfits. Tom once admitted that the best moments with Elvis weren't on stage, but during quiet nights, when they'd sit and talk about life, family, and their dreams beyond fame. In a world where many friendships crumble under fame, theirs stood strong. Elvis didn't see Tom as a rival, and Tom didn't see Elvis as a legend. He saw him as a friend. And that was the real bond they shared. When Tom Jones opens up about Elvis Presley, his words don't sound rehearsed, polished, or crafted for interviews. Instead, they come straight from the heart of a man who spent years alongside the king of rock and roll and saw sides of him that very few ever did. At 85, Tom no longer hides behind diplomacy or careful words. He speaks with honesty, even if it brings back painful memories. His emotional confession about Elvis paints a picture of a man torn between the glory of his fame and the weight of its crushing loneliness. Tom has revealed that Elvis was often conflicted about the image the world demanded of him. On stage, he was the untouchable superstar, the rhinestone jumpsuits, the smoldering charisma, the electrifying voice. But when the shows ended and the spotlight faded, he was left feeling caged by his own stardom. He couldn't just walk out and live, Tom admitted in one interview. Elvis loved people, but the fame stripped away his ability to be among them. He couldn't enjoy the simplest joys of life, a quiet dinner, a stroll in the park, or even shopping for himself. That sense of isolation ate away at him, and Tom, as his close friend, saw it firsthand. One of the most heartbreaking parts of Tom's confession was how Elvis tried to keep his pain hidden. He would joke around, put on a brave face, and even, in private moments, try to maintain the aura of the king. But Tom says that he could sense the exhaustion in Elvis's voice, the heaviness in his eyes. For all the glamour of Las Vegas and the cheering crowds, Elvis was a man running on empty. His health struggles were becoming more obvious, and Tom recalled moments when Elvis would push himself to perform even when his body was clearly in distress. Tom's confession also touches on regret. He admitted that he wishes he could have done more to help Elvis, to pull him away from the relentless cycle of fame and pressure. I always felt he needed more real friends around him. People who could ground him, Tom once said. He acknowledged that while he tried to be there, the demands of their own careers often kept them apart. That distance still haunts Tom today. Perhaps the most emotional part of his confession is when Tom talks about missing Elvis. Decades have passed, yet he describes the loss as if it were yesterday. The sound of Elvis's laughter, the way he could light up a room, the private talks about life and love, all of it lives in Tom's memory. Every time Tom steps on a stage, especially in Las Vegas, those memories flood back. He says that Elvis isn't just a chapter in history for him. He's still a presence in his life. Through his confession, Tom doesn't just reveal Elvis's struggles, he humanizes him. He strips away the crown, the fame, the king title, and shows the man underneath. Vulnerable, lonely, brilliant, but also deeply kind. Tom's honesty reminds the world that Elvis Presley wasn't just a star to be adored from afar. He was a man who needed love, support, and understanding. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful legacy Tom carries. The truth of a friend who lived and died under the crushing weight of fame. Elvis Presley may have left the world in 1977, but his spirit refuses to be confined to the past. His influence still pulses through music, fashion, and culture. Yet, for Tom Jones, Elvis's memory isn't just about the global icon the world celebrates. It's about the man he knew personally, the friend who laughed with him, confided in him, and shared moments of real humanity behind the curtain of fame. Tom has often spoken about how stepping into Las Vegas always brings back Elvis's shadow. After all, it was Elvis who transformed Vegas into the entertainment capital it became. His residencies redefined what live performance could mean, paving the way for countless artists. Tom says that whenever he takes the stage there, he feels Elvis's presence watching over him. The flashing lights, the roaring applause, it all carries echoes of the king. But Elvis's memory doesn't live on just through the places he conquered. It endures through the people he touched. Fans across the globe, spanning multiple generations, continue to honor him. Graceland remains one of the most visited homes in America, attracting millions of admirers every year. Young musicians, decades removed from Elvis's prime, still cite him as a major influence on their sound and style. His revolutionary blend of rock, gospel, and rhythm and blues remains timeless, proof that his music will never age.